Hello, everyone. I'm Joseph Giraputo, the founder and editorial director of Global Finance, speaking from New York. Anith Daniel, the group head of transaction banking at Emirates NBD in Dubai, will join me. Emirates NBD is an international financial institution headquartered in the United Arab Emirates. It operates through branches, subsidiaries, and representative offices worldwide, including a branch in London. The bank offers a full-featured transaction banking product suite that supports its clients' working capital requirements. Global Finance recently named it the best supply chain finance provider in the Middle East and the best trade finance bank in the UAE. Anith, welcome and congratulations on your awards.
Thank you, Joseph.
Okay, let's get started. What is UAE's Vision 2030? And what are the most significant challenges it presents for the UAE's banking sector?
The UAE's 2030 vision actually cuts across many areas. One is to be the technology hub and establish itself as a technology hub for innovation. Second is around sustainability and development and inclusion. And then the third would be around industrial growth. So there are actually many facets to each of these areas that the UAE 2030 vision is all about. And digital transformation is one of the key aspects of it to achieve all of these statements as part of the UAE 2030 vision. Now, one of the things that the government is very interested and has been driving very efficiently is digitization across all the services that we do in the UAE. So I wouldn't pose it as a challenge. I would pose it as an opportunity. In fact, there is so much for us to do, and we have so little time to do it in. That is probably that would be a challenge that we don't probably have enough time to do all of the stuff that we want to do. But there's a host of things that are happening in the country, in the region, from whether it is creating a fintech capital, creating a fintech ecosystem for small, large, diverse set of companies to come into the region, set up their businesses, serve the region from the UAE, and create that fintech hub. Bring innovation into the region, not just to the customers in the UAE, but also to customers in the region, out of their offices based in UAE. Look at innovative products. I mean, you would hear a lot about Dubai doing or UAE doing a lot in terms of technology, whether it's Hyperloop, whether it's autonomous vehicles. So there are a lot of targets set for 2030 vision of the UAE, and I would say that from a banking perspective, we have to advance very, very fast and do a technology transformation to be able to keep up to speed with all the things that are happening in the industry around us, so that we're able to provide the banking rails that actually meet all those innovations that are happening in different industries around us.
Okay, very interesting. What role does transaction banking innovation play in transforming the UAE's business and financial services?
Okay, so as I was saying earlier, there are many interesting industries and new industries coming into the UAE, whether it's fintech or techfin or businesses moving their buying houses into the region from other parts of the world, and they look at advantages because the UAE has now become a trade hub, has always been a trade hub, and is expanding its presence in the global markets. There are multiple sources of financing tools available now in the market. There is a very robust equity capital markets now being set up, with a lot of IPOs that are happening in the region. So when it comes to transformation of these businesses and trade, everybody is looking for digital capabilities in banking. So everybody wants to now be able to transact with banks using digital methods. They want to be able to do that from the comfort of their homes, their mobile phones, or different form factors that they want to choose. And they want to be able to do it with finality and us giving them confirmation that the transactions have gone through and they have been, if it's a payment, then they want a finality saying that did the end beneficiary get the payment? Was I able to track it? If it's trade finance, they want us to be able to receive the instructions through a digital format, process it via STP, make sure that the supplier or on the other side gets paid, give them a confirmation that that's been paid, and give all these dashboards and all these tracking on their front end channels that they consume from us. So it's a lot of integration of, so I would put it this way, a whole new front end with digitization, a whole new or a back end transformation, which can accept digital documents, process them through STP, have rule engines in them so that we don't have to go back to clients often to check with them what they want to do. We can do that based on ML or AI-based tools and be able to process them. So reduce the idle time and the processing time at our end and make it more efficient. That is what we see happening in the space around us. And we also see the addition of a lot of fintechs coming into the market. And these fintechs bring an array of services, which we believe are complementary to what the bank does in some ways, and would be an interesting play if we were to create a sandbox environment where we can do a plug and play with them and partner with them and give those services to our clients where we necessarily may not have the economic scale or the viability or the time to be able to do all of that, which the fintechs will be able to do. So use that to our advantage and to their advantage and collaborate effectively on that side and be able to do that. So one of the things that we do, for example, is we've set up a venture capital fund, which looks at investments into fintech companies, which complement what the bank does. And that's complementary technologies, which the bank can then use to expand into other markets where we operate in and offer a better service to our client. We've set up something called as an API sandbox hub. It's called Emirates NBD Souk. It's our hosting website for all the APIs that we provide to our clients. So there's a list of around 50 plus APIs are already hosted on it, which clients can come consume those APIs. It gives you a list of what standards those APIs are built to, what would it take for you to consume those APIs, and then you can come back to us and say if you want to enable those APIs, and we can enable that for you via the API hub. So these are some of the things that we see clients have been a lot more receptive to in the recent times, given that post-COVID, everybody has gone through a digitization wave themselves. So they're all transforming their IT capabilities and creating efficiencies out of the whole IT landscape that they are going through. Similarly, on our side, we've done the same thing. We've transformed our IT capabilities. We're now more API centric, and we can do a lot more of these services digitally and give them native digital apps on, and that too cloud enabled.
It sounds like your relationship with fintechs is more one of cooperation than competition.
That's true. So, a few years ago, banks thought that fintechs would come and take away the entire market, but that's not really happened, as we all know. Banks have a certain place in this whole life cycle. Clients trust us for the value that banks bring. They've been banking with the banks for many, many years. Emirates NBD celebrates its 60th year. So we have a long history of association with our clients. They trust us with what we do. I don't think fintechs are going to take that away from banks. They're certainly more nimble in terms of speed, in terms of offering. Banks still have a very long lead time when it comes to making changes, given the complexity and the rules that we operate in. Fintechs are a lot more faster. And that's why there exists an ecosystem or a play where we can benefit off each other. There are certain things that they will be better at, and there are certain things that we are better at. For example, compliance, risk, governance, credit lending standards. Now, these are some things that we have loads and loads of history and data of, which fintechs will take time on. So that is something that they can leverage off us. We, on the other hand, can use their capabilities on UI, UX, new age tech, which they're a lot more faster on. And it's a very symbiotic sort of relationship when it comes. Is there competition? Of course, there's competition, but I think it will evolve to a point where we will both benefit off each other.
What are the next generation of technologies, products, and services shaping the future of transaction banking in the region?
I'm just wondering where to start, because there's a host of stuff that's going on. So the latest buzzword is, of course, Gen AI. Everybody's talking about Gen AI and what Gen AI will do. I don't think we've reached the stage where we're able to commercialize Gen AI today. But if you were to ask me, what do you think is the future of tech in banking and in transaction banking specifically? Some areas that I would name would be certainly the usage of Gen AI in solving problems. The other would be tokenization. I think tokenization is something that will, in my opinion, is something that is waiting to take off. And I don't mean crypto in particular. I just mean tokenization of assets, fractionalization of assets, to be able to do a smart contract instead of doing a physical contract, and then to be linking the smart contract to a payment token so that you can transmit the token. Because when you look at what clients and what businesses want from banks and financial systems today, their needs are still the same. They want to be able to validate that who they are paying to is the right counterparty. They want to be able for us to give them the comfort that we will be able to give an instant credit. So they want to know finality of that payment. And most important to clients is they want a cheaper solution for payment or a more cost-effective way of making a payment. And the last but not the least, and probably the most important, is cybersecurity. Because with the advent of digitization and more digital technologies, fraud is also increasing simultaneously, right? So that becomes a very core area that clients expect banks to play a very large role in ensuring that frauds are prevented. And on payment side, whether you look at it from cash management or you look at it at trade finance, this is what a client expects bank to do. And to deliver these services, I mean, the new plays will be around, I mean, besides these new technologies, there will be regional clearing propositions that will get built, like what UAE is trying to do with India, what Singapore is trying to do with India and in the Asia region, which will enable money to move faster, or you will have instant payment rails. Almost every country in the world is now looking at instant payment rail networks. How will these instant payment rail networks connect for a cross-border efficiency? So if I have to make a payment, say from UAE to Indonesia, how will I connect with the IPN rail in Indonesia using the cross-border rail? Now, these are systems or I think solutions that will evolve with time faster than, I mean, it'll be much faster than the pace that we've seen so far, where we will be able to give finality to our customers on some of these payments and especially address that need of making every payment within the ecosystem as an instant payment. And I think that's what it's going to. Gen AI is going to help with a lot of other things like increasing efficiency, being able to give interactive screens to customers for customer services, use the Gen AI tools for things like rule management. If you have I mean, just to give you an example, right? So if you have a client in the corporate world who has a credit facility which has conditions, today when he sends a request, somebody has to manually check the conditions. You build a Gen AI engine or a ML, machine learning based engine for it, which can automate that whole process and check that, give the client a front-end view of what are the discrepancies. He sees a very different, view of the transaction. It's not a black hole to him anymore. And I think that's where the technologies will evolve. Clients will want, or clients do want faster, everything to be faster. They want it to be transparent. They don't like black holes within the bank. They want it to be exposed to them, where their transactions are in the queue. And I think these technologies are going to help us with exposing that and giving a faster and better service.
Anith, this was all very interesting. Would you like to add anything else?
I think in the UAE, we are seeing a lot of change from a market perspective. We see almost every side of the digitization become a very important aspect to how businesses are being built in the UAE. And it's being led by the government. So most of the government departments, entities now offer fully digital journeys. So we have to keep pace with what's happening on the government side and to be able to offer the same to our corporate world. I see that space being very active, very evolved in terms of what we try and do. So as we innovate, we try and develop more products which offer more and more services to these companies. So it's a very exciting space to me in payments specifically. I think payments has always been a disruptive sort of environment where fintechs have come in, a lot of players have come in and tried to do it. There's still a lot to be done within the payment space. And I think that's UAE is probably best positioned in terms of being a good trade corridor, a good transportation corridor to be able to consume that. And I think one of the things that hold us as Emirates NBD in very good stead is about 5 years ago, we decided to take the call that we needed to transform our backend services. And today we are reaping the benefits of that because today we have a technology stack, which is far more advanced compared to what a lot of banks can talk about. So we are fully API enabled. We can consume a lot of these services. So it took us, mind you, it was not easy. It was a very difficult journey to go through. But now we are at a stage where all the technology transformation that we did, we can now start building customer products off that. So a lot of it was backend change so far, we can now start building products off that and to be able to roll that out in the market. With some of the other regions and countries and larger banks, they still are on old legacy stacks. They still have to go through that transformation. And it's a very, very painful exercise. I think in UAE, the technology is far more, the transformation has happened far earlier than what the other countries are going through. So we're well placed to take advantage of some of these advancements in technology to be able to offer a better service.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure to be on board. Thank you.